Okay, welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping straight into something pretty interesting today. It's based on transcript excerpts you sent us from a Citizen TV Kenya YouTube video.
That's right. And this one centers on, well, a pretty well-known figure, the musician and police constable, Samidoh. There seems to be some real confusion around his current duty status.
Yeah, exactly. And our mission here is to unpack the details that are in these source materials because they really lay out a puzzling situation with conflicting reports about whether he's actually a deserter or if he was, on approved leave. It kind of makes you wonder about how clearly information flows or maybe doesn't flow within these official systems.
Exactly. The sources suggest it's far from straightforward. It seems to hinge on contradictory documents.
Okay, so let's look at the first side of it presented in the source. There's one report cited from the National Police Service, apparently, saying Constable Samuel Mushoki that Samidoh might face arrest.
Right. And the reason given, that he supposedly didn't report back to his station by May 27th. This was after just being given an off day, apparently. And since he'd been absent over 10 days by then, they flagged him as a deserter.
Wow, okay. So that sounds quite definite.
Well, that account details a letter sent to his commanding officer asking for his immediate arrest. It mentioned, they tried to find him, couldn't locate him, his whereabouts were unknown. It's a serious step based on that timeline.
But, and this is where it gets tricky, according to the source,
Yeah.
Citizen TV reportedly saw a different official letter.
Correct. And this second document, it seems to tell a very different story. Apparently, it's from an officer acting on behalf of the Inspector General of Police.
Okay.
And it indicates Constable Mushoki had actually been granted official clearance to travel.
Clearance to travel where?
To the United States, specifically for musical performances.
Which, given he's a popular musician, that part sounds plausible, right?
Yeah.
And lines up with photos he's apparently posted.
Seems consistent with his public activities.
But the dates in this second letter, that's the key thing creating the conflict here.
Absolutely critical detail. This second clearance letter states his approved leave ran from May 20th all the way through to June 9th.
June 9th.
June 9th. So based on this official communication, he wasn't actually expected back until June 10th.
Which would have been just yesterday, relative to when this likely came out.
Precisely.
Wow. Okay, so just to recap, one official account says back May 27th after an off day, label him a deserter. And then another official account says cleared leave until June 9th, expected back June 10th.
Yeah. That's a major discrepancy in the official record about his status.
It really is.
And it really underscores how vital, clear, consistent information is inside any large organization, especially, the police service. The source shows this apparent contradiction isn't just academic, it has immediate effects.
Like, his salary being stopped. Okay. The source mentioned that, right?
Yeah, exactly right. His pay has been halted. And it seems that action was based on that initial desertion report, a report which is now, directly questioned by the dates in that second letter Citizen TV apparently saw.
And the source material is clear that desertion isn't a small thing. It's a serious criminal offense under the National Police Service Act.
Oh, absolutely. The potential consequences mentioned are significant. Things like summary dismissal from the service.
Or even prison time.
Or even imprisonment for up to 2 years if convicted. It's serious business.
So this whole situation, just based purely on the source material you provided us, it really boils down to this direct clash.
Yeah.
Two official communications seemingly contradicting each other about approved dates for this officer.
It creates this cloud of confusion around the desertion claim itself. And it really reveals the potential fallout when these kinds of internal discrepancies happen.
Yeah, this case, again, just looking at the source, it makes you think about the complexities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How easily things can get tangled when official documents seem to say different things.
Yep.
Getting those details right, it's obviously crucial for understanding what's actually going on and, for ensuring accountability is based on facts.
And what's really interesting is how the source seems to lay bare this potential breakdown, either in communication or maybe internal processes within official channels. A breakdown that directly affects someone's job, their status, their livelihood.
So for you listening, maybe the thing to consider from this deep dive into the source, what are the broader implications when official communications inside a system, like the police force here, appear to contradict each other so fundamentally, especially on something as basic as whether someone is on approved leave or AWOL. How does that kind of internal confusion potentially impact Oversight, accountability,
Hmm.
just the overall functioning of the system.
Yeah, it's a really good question to ponder based on what these source excerpts suggest.
Definitely something to think about.